Hallelujah. Giving, hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. In the morning when I wake up, in the night when I wake up, I will lift up my voice to heaven and give you the highest praise. Hallelujah to my King. Hallelujah to my Father. Hallelujah to my Jesus. I bow before the throne. When I look at all the wonder and I see all the creation, the beauty of the universe, you never, never change. You never, never lie. You never, never change. You never, never change. Hallelujah to my Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 Hey. Hey. Hallelujah. Hey. Giving. Hallelujah. Hey. Giving the highest praise. Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise. Hallelujah. Giving the highest praise.
Hey, come let's pray, Jehovah. Come let's worship Jehovah. We deserve the praise. Come let's praise. He deserves everything. Oh, the worshiping. Oh, he gave me life. I will praise his name. I'm here to praise my God. Because he gave me life. Come celebrate, come jubilate, come and worship him. He deserves the praise. Hallelujah, giving the higher praise. Hallelujah, giving the higher praise.
Hallelujah, giving the higher giving. Hallelujah, giving the highest praise. Hallelujah, giving the highest praise. Hallelujah.
Say no, please. Whoa, you know, man. They are doing you. It was a demo. So you will know day. Come on, pull on your block, please. Your block will also put out. People carry more and no dinosaur. Can the floor and now day? What I said is so, what I say you. What I say, oh, it was a demo. Found woman and get me where I Sekinadi, Umone Drogei, Pia Debia, Ranadio, Maturangi, Zawakere Masema Bu, Zines the Adeo, Zines the Adeo, Danaudia, Vejo Danegi. Where you send it, I'll come by you. Where you send it, I'll come by you. Now, they are you do. See, you are going more. Yeah, we say no place. He has said in the old day. I'm a train now. Now I'm more when you know how to say more blind. On it, Divago, I play a jazz. On it, Divago, I play a jazz. Yes, I need Divago, I play a jazz. Adieu, yes, I do, yes, I won't buy my own. I won't buy my own. Yeah, we say no place. Yes, I didn't know day. Diableji, Dido one Rupa no more. Dido Rapa, man says so. Yes, I didn't know day. Sama, black and you saying I did it. I send me go. Sika, do it, your boy. Oh, yeah, say, yeah, boy. Wow.
Good evening. That's how we're going to start the program this evening. Take you to neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire there with that beautiful traditional song. I am Afonso Zeansort of the Liberia Public Radio 10 Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us here this evening. Hopefully, we're going to get this program going. Just do us a favor if you can just share this with other friends and family and invite them to this evening talking point. So let's get the ball rolling. As usual, the partnership is still in the making, but it's taking the time to make sure that we catch up with the time as well. That is our sister network, Scar TV in Liberia, and that of the Liberia Public Radio. This is all things considered, and so we're going to be looking at some of the news making headlines in the country. Of course, we always accommodate your voice or voices. My man SK, welcome. Richie Ballat, we want to say welcome you. Do us a favor, just hit the share button and share this podcast with friends, family, and anyone else to be part of this evening conversation. Let's take a quick break here and as a way to start this program, and we will be right back. Is taking it unprecedented turn and is going to get ugly comes the 2023 presidential elections.
There were four major political parties came together under the banner of collaboration. Political pundits and others sees this as uh, that it wouldn't have survived. Knowing the history of the collaborations in past years within the Liberian politics, it was just very difficult for one to grab it, to make sense out of it, that these things will have reached this far. Here we come, not even in the middle of the process, the whole thing is torn apart. This is a crazy scenario that have let the electorates down because these collaboration parties were seen as alternative to the CDC. Here we are, is falling apart. One of the collaborators is now being allegedly accused as criminal or someone who illegally tamper with the documents that has to do with the framework. This is quite amazing. We have not heard anything from the Election Commission. Is because it is the institution that presides over electoral process, and it is the Election Commissions that gave these political parties this sort of framework status. So I am curious here to know uh, this document. If this document was a fraudulent document, why should the collaboration should still be in place and one person is leaving the process? This is quite fascinating. And we
From the West African nation of Côte d'Ivoire, Liberia Public Radio and Television present Business Diary. This program focuses on the activities of business institutions and individuals in society.
I'm Jeremiah Sawu Senior, CEO of All Nation Buy. It has been very good to have this business established here. We are 1 year since we opened here in Anono. There have been few challenges here that have faced in this country, and that is all about the language. But here instead, I refuse to be deterred. I refuse to be discouraged. I open a business and things have been fine.
My name is Mercy Wangari-Nganga. I am a finance officer working for an international organization. I have a master's degree in business administration. So today I'd like to take the opportunity to talk to you about the COVID pandemic and how it has affected the business sector in terms of me working in an organization, an international organization.
Don't miss out. Be my guest. It's coming soon on Liberia Public Radio and Television.
In La Côte d'Ivoire. If you are based in Ivory Coast, you also want to get your business or your institution up, just let us know. Our guy is right there in Abidjan. Ben is there, and he will make sure we get that information. Do want to welcome our viewer is 8:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here in the East Coast. We want to welcome you into this editions of All Things Considered, airing right here and simultaneously on Scar TV in Liberia. So this evening, All Things Considered, obviously, it's an open mic, and so we're gonna be having a conversation here. Just do us a favor, share the podcast, and I'm not sure the Libra going to be here. The Libra is dealing with some major family matters, so he won't be here with us tonight. We are also keeping him prayer, bereaved. So that's something. It's a difficult thing, especially if it is a close family member. That's something you have to deal with. We as traditionalists, that's something we have to deal with. So our prayers and thought is out with the Liberal Progressive. That's something Bloku To and the entire bereaved family, friend and brother right here based in the Ocean State. Mr. Charlotte Harrison, as a matter of fact, his father. So we are keeping in prayer and the entire family for the loss, and we wish them God's healing. So it's a very difficult thing, and of course, we have all gone through that, and that's a very it's a painful situation when you have your you know lost close family members all of a sudden things just fall apart. It's a painful thing. Okay, let's get to the point. Hopefully, the man from the far right, Amos George, will be joining us yet. Hopefully. Okay, there you go. He's the guy. He's always on time. He's on his position. We're gonna be calling back. But there was something that caught my attention late this evening. I've been very, very much tight in schedule, being a little bit distracted about first thing come first. So, but while pulling around just before coming, I saw this video on the YouTube. As you know, Liberia is always in the phrase, like always in the picture, courtesy of our sister to network. Let me play this here. And there was also a signing ceremony. I didn't get the details of that. I did not. I monitor exactly what is signing and what's going to be coming, but we all can joyfully listen and we'll get sense of it and we can make it of a talking point. Just hit the share button for us. Sometimes it becomes difficult from our end to share. Facebook has become so restrictive sometimes for whatever reason. I don't know. But sometimes the share button is visible to share in group, invite individual, but it's difficult. So my man SK and Ballard, I count on you and all the other folks that are joining us to share with us. But this is what unfolded this evening. Let's play this and see what it look like.
Amen. What Josh got for me? Yeah.
Okay, that's the images coming out of Liberia later this afternoon. It's every day something, some sort of drama, something happens on a daily basis. I don't understand why it is. Uh, this is happening, but that's another world. That's another society we are in. Democracy, as it bets people to say, well, freedom of speech, right? So the freedom of speech involves a lot of things, as a matter of fact. Uh, but I'm not sure whether we are having all of these conversation. I didn't really follow the details of that. We'll try to get to the bottom of the neck or bottom line to see what is happening. Calling people, roll, 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 roll. I don't know. That's Liberia, and that's how it looks like. So we're gonna be having this conversation. But interestingly, according to our own network, Liberia Public Radio, online news platform, is reporting this evening. I believe. Let's see here what this news was picked up from. I want to make sure to get this and give the credit to whom it is due. One of the progressive or Harlander, young Harlander in La Cote d'Ivoire, the coin the ex-young patriots, Guli, Le Gulit. Remember he and Alassane, not Alassane, Laurent Gbagbo, they were all at the IC. They were indicted, war crime or whatever it is, about killing over 3,000 people. You remember the crisis I was in the Ivory Coast that led the interventions of the French troop, and eventually, former President Laurent Gbagbo was taken into custody, and he and one of the key persons at the time arrested was Blake Goodiers, who was a young students activist. His name is a free man today. Charles Blake Goody is a free man who was a young progressive leaders of the young generation in Cote d'Ivoire. He's been in the Hague, but he's a free man today. He's a free man to walking. So what happens? So people can go to the Hague and come back, depending to what you did and what happens. They have to gather all of the evidence. It's not the kind of talking point that we have yet, and we just ready and just indict people and then found them guilty. No, there's a process. You have to produce evidence, strong evidence, not circumstantial, not the way we feel, how we interpret it, because we want it to go our way. When it goes before the law, it becomes a different scenario. You're going to produce high court evidence before that person can be convicted. So even though he been there for the long years, I'm not sure what's going to be done. We saw Alassane, not Alassane, Laurent Gbagbo. Well, kept calling Alassane. We saw Gbagbo returning home after years. He was in exile, being held in the Hague. He's finally returned home. And Godi, he's the guy that was still behind bars in the Hague. But there's a fullness of time. There's the prosecutors, the defense, they were going through their own um, process. In the Netherlands, when you go down there, I don't care who you are, they gotta come, you will be subdued. And not just only that, because when he was picked up, his passport, everything was taken away. This picture here, his passports, traveling documents, it is not clear as to whether. But my guess, he will also return home. If former President Gbagbo can go home, while Charles Blake Goody cannot go home. His traveling document been returned, so it's a clear indicators or clear indication that he is a free man, and so he gotta be going home to his motherland. So that's a significant one. He's been there for a while now, so that's it. But the video, the footage we just saw, students at the University of Liberia chanting and against or protesting in stronger terms in their own way. If you see, getting at Minister Samuel Tua, who is the Minister of Finance and Planning, Economic Affairs, and the Chief of Officer to the President and Presidential Affairs Minister Nathaniel Fallot McGee. Yeah, I know the two guys. For some, they're named McGee, Tua, Koji, they are the bubble gum, whether they know it or not. People always have to call them. That's what happens when you are close to with the authority. Sometimes you are indicted at the will and pleasures of people, and that you are informed of everything that is happening. What we're into this edition, my guy Amos George will be joining me here very shortly, and we're going to be having this conversation. We're going to take on a wide range of issues, some of the things that are so concerned, how the politics is being played in Liberia news making headlines as well. But on a good note, the government of Liberia and World Bank signs a Liberian urban resilience project at the Ministry of Public Works today. So, good thing happening, ugly thing going on, funny thing happening simultaneously. That's the beauty of a society. That's the beauty of the country. So there are some good parts. So we must be able to play all of that. Let's see here. Let's see the signing ceremony here held today uh, in the nation's capital of Monrovia, in Liberia. That's the Ministry of Public Works. He's signing for the government of Liberia, and that was the World Bank. You know, when the World Bank somewhere now, then there's something good now. So let's see here. Let's watch this image here, and I'll be bringing Amos George as well. Let's see here the signing ceremony by the government of Liberia and that of the Ministry of Public Works.
Between the government of Liberia and the World Bank. Tuesday, May 31st, 2022, at about now. Welcome remark, Honorable Joseph. Welcome remark, Honorable Joseph P. Thor, Deputy Minister for Administration, Ministry of Public Works.
Minister Samuel D. Tua, Honorable Minister Delegate, Minister Lukuko Collins, Lieutenant Boss, Mr. Henry Williams from the National Disaster Management Committee, Honorable James Johnson from the CSA, all other deputies in this room, other officials of government, including the assistant ministers, the country director of the World Bank, Mr. Pierre Frank Laporte, members of the Fourth Estates, one and all. I'd like to use this time to welcome all of you to this unique occasion, marking the official signing ceremony of the Liberian Urban Resilience Project between the government of Liberia and the World Bank, a project that is expected to affect the lives of our people in rural communities. I'd like to say welcome to all of you, and please feel free at the Ministry of Public Works. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Thor. Next on the program agenda is background of the project, and this will be addressed by Honorable James Reynolds, Assistant Minister for Planning and Programming, Ministry of Public Works.
Thank you very much. Honorable Samuel Litwell, Minister of Finance and Development Planning for Liberia. Honorable Ruth Coker Collins, our boss, Minister Designate of the Ministry of Public Works. Honorable Bani Salif, Minister of Internal Affairs, representatives of and his representative here present, the head of the National Disaster Management Committee, and the head of the CSA. Want to say welcome to you. Deputy ministers here present, want to say welcome. The country director and country manager, respectively, of the World Bank, Honorable Pierre Laporte and Mr. Kwima Intira, want to say welcome. Mayors of PCC, NMCC, and our representatives here present, want to say welcome to you. Members of the Food Estate, other assistant ministers, our colleagues, members of the Ministry of Public Works, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I want to welcome you to the Ministry of Public Works to this historical signing occasion, which marks a milestone and a formidable step forward in the infrastructure development and strategy of our country. The Liberian Urban Development Project, previously dubbed the Monrovia Integrated Development Project, ensued first as a result of the personal intervention of His Excellency President George Manawia to address the dire city needs of our country especially in the wake of the ever-growing challenge of climate change that threatens the livelihood and economy of many communities that are exposed to this impact. This intervention led to an increase in scope and strategy to what we have now developed and is to be signed as the Liberian Urban Development Project. As we are aware, Monrovia is one of the wettest capitals of the world, with approximately 5 meters of rainfall yearly. The impact of severe rainfall occurs during rainy season, resulting in localized floods across the country. These events impact the capital in particular due to its low-lying topography and lack of adequate drainage. Per-river flooding as a result of these events will affect the communities, their livelihood, their income, and most importantly, our infrastructure. Our project recently calculated to be about 300,000 on average every year. These are the sort of issues that the Liberian Urban Development Project seeks to address with a development strategy and a development objective that is intended to improve integrated urban management, service delivery, and flood resilience in Greater Monrovia. This project is jointly financed through the World Bank IDA financing to a tune of $40 million United States dollars, and a French development agency that is providing 10 million euros for the implementation of the project. The project will be implemented in parallel with both funding provided to a project management unit being housed by the Ministry of Public Works. And as such, the Ministry of Public Works will serve as the lead implementing partner, along with key stakeholders that include the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Liberia Land Authority, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Ministry of Internal Affairs,
Okay, there you have it. There, that's a good news. Sunny ceremony, because the more things are stabilized, the better it becomes for the country. We are just hoping that the direct beneficiary should be the one to receive it. So there are good money is being pumped inside, and hopefully we can have those in charge to have a conversation with them. Okay, let me go to Atlanta, Georgia. What our senior contributor, Mr. Amos George, is standing by to bring it on, and we will be having a conversation here. Things, news, making headlines, and what is he concerned with. And then, of course, you, our valuable viewer listeners, are far and near. Your input is absolutely paramount in our conversation. Let me bring in Amos Joyce and see what we can have this evening. Joining me from Atlanta, Georgia, a senior political analyst of the Liberia Public Radio, legendary Amos George. Is that a yellow pen in your hand?
Yeah.
Well, you taking note or? Okay, no, I love the color. I'm a yellow. I'm a IE fan, so anything when I see yellow, I'm kind of like attractive to it, and I love it. We want to wear all of you. Okay, so Mr. George, how is the Mayor week so far?
Not bad. Frank, I say come speak on ça.
Come speak on ça. So yeah, that was Sunday good, Sunday bad.
Yeah.
The Liberal will not be with us. The Liberal is bereaved, so
Oh man, sorry.
I'm not sure you're gonna be here. We talked yesterday. I called him, but he doesn't pick up phone call. I don't know. He's not a white man. He want to be like a white man. You gotta call him 555 times before he gets to the phone. And he is who he is. But anyway.
If I would die from him.
Well, was some very close immediate family member.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very, very close. Very, very, very close. Yeah. So I don't know what the decision gonna be like, but I wouldn't be surprised when he has to make another trip.
Oh,
Yeah, one of our friend and brother in his right here in my own state that his father and happens to be a brother to him. So it's very, very close. But our prayers and thought with the bereaved family, and I don't know why it is in recent time. It's just from one thing to another, one thing to another. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the point. How was your day? Yesterday we couldn't come on to doing some little work here. And now America has its own obstacles. But we're trying to upgrade my system, and so it took time to get it adjusted. But finally, it's being concluded today. So we are here. So let's have a conversation. What are you hearing?
So much, but the incident with the U.S. students, Samuel and Nathaniel Mangale. And
why is it always like that? Is that some sort of addiction? Is this the students? Is it that they don't like these guys? Is this something political, or do they see them as people responsible for what is going on? What is the deal with this guy? Every time they went out there, there will be some sort of noise and screaming, yelling, calling them names, and all of that. What is it happening?
It's all above. It's all above, and Soup is not stranger. Samuel and Nathaniel, they should not be stranger to Soup, because
they're their bodies, you know.
Yeah. So from Dothan, Taylortown, Ellington, and this town. So Soup has always been a radical group on campus, on the U.S. campus. So, and every government that has come, they have run into problem with that government. I mean, that's just it. But what is happening? I don't know, when you went to Liberia, whether you had a time to drive or even to pass around the University of Liberia.
Yes, I did not enter the facility, but I was it was almost like that.
I know you took a look at the building, now the physical look of the building. And if the building, the outside is looking like that, then what do you think about the inside?
Is that a reaction of the students?
Oh yeah.
Is that what they venting out there? Is that the way?
Yeah.
I mean,
what happened is that building is dilapidated, it's deplorable. Even on the campus, I went there, Mr. So, the pipe holes, the pipe hole on the campus.
What has been the push of the authority, the administration, the presidents, the faculty, the administration, the Ministry of Education, the committee, having oversight of all of these things? What is their own push?
Now I come to now. This blame go across the board. The government, that is the executive, the national legislature, the board of the university, and that of the president of the institution itself. They all share this blame. Though George, they did an increment in the budget for the university. But look at the problem that exists there. That money is not enough.
Who should argue? Who should be making that? Who should argument that case?
Okay, every one of them. Because here's the thing here. These people were in opposition. Buffer Chima, there are video of Buffer Chima joining the university to demonstrate against Ellen. He almost hit a policeman, cussing the policeman. Buffer Chima was not speaker today.
Are you strange to that? This is why these politicians, opposition, everybody, I'm not excited about them, because they are the same old thing. They would turn, if you trust them with state power today, they would do the rest.
What I'm trying to say, they all know the problem of this university. They know it. They were in opposition to it. They identify all these problems. Now, they are there now. It's like you say, oh no, we didn't see the thing, they think they not exist. Maybe it's just coming. So these are some of the anchor you see the university trying to.
Is it being properly the anger they are venting, their grievances they are expressing? Is it a proper way to do it, or is like we're talking, no one is listening to, or we have to get it out of our chest, and is that what they are exhibiting, or what?
Two things here.
Politics also interested. Of course, UL is all about politics, but the trend is taking now is just
no,
it's too heavy.
It's not heavy, Mr. So here's the thing here. To that issue, the students did not get up to go to the street. It was Minister Tuan and Minister Mange, because they doing some work on the campus. I think they want to take a tour on the campus. And that when the issue started. They started calling them rogue. And what I'm saying is that I would want that. So many things in my mind. I said, okay. Is it the Minister of Finance? Is he the technical person? Is he the Minister of Public Works? First thing I started asking a whole lot of questions. One, who awarded this contract? Is it the University of Liberia or the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Finance? Where is Public Works? I think Public Works was supposed to maybe to be there. Whatever contractor to work to supervise to make sure.
Yeah, but when it comes to finances, there's no way that the Minister of Finance and will be looked back. He is one of the chief custodians when it comes to starting of a ceremony.
That
has to do with money. There's no way that guy can be beyond the house. He will be at the front of the
ceremony. These people went there to take a tour on the campus of the work that is being done. Now, my question here is, Senator no, Natalia no. These guys see the lifestyle you're living. The children know you from day one. And when they are in that kind of conditions and they see you people every day riding this car, living the lifestyle, there is personal jealousy there. Envy. Don't rule that up. But the problem here is the government of Liberia. And Mr. So I'm tired with this. We continue to say all these things. Yes, this problem was there, it's been there. But when you take over, you say you're going to solve the problem, don't continue to put it back again at the people, because those people, that's why they gave you power for. To solve those issues that you said was wrong, and you knew it. So, why this government has not put enough money to help solve that problem? Then the national legislature, they can fight hard to increase the salary. They can fight hard to get traveling, visitation, they say rural, I don't know what kind of tour, money. But they cannot fight the executive to put more money into the university.
Because they're all in it for themselves.
Yeah, so that's why I say it's all what they cannot fight for that. They said laboratory nothing, library zero, classes leaking, toilet you cannot flush, they cannot flush the toilets. These are basic things that the university must have in the 21st century. You're talking about the highest institution of learning in the country. The legislatures, they don't fight for that. They only fight for themselves. Now,
so then why is it then? But for the most part, we frown, even though we talk about it. But bulk of the blame goes to the executive, and these are the people that are supposed to to hold the executive responsible. But they are all more or less to get their cut. They are always in it for themselves, and at the end of the day, we maybe direct all of our bullets and vents our angles at the executive or executive appointees. Is that fair? Can't we also proportionally, as the executive appointees or executive is being confronted, why not the lawmaker? Those people, they are our direct representatives. They are the people that we voted for to protect, to also represent our interests. But they more or less for themselves.
That's why I'm saying the angle should not just be directed at the executive one. Since the Universal Library is in Mosorado, they should call Sir Joseph and Darrell Dillon and other representatives to ask them why is it that they are not fighting to increase funding, adequate funding for the Universal Library. Why? Because they are the direct representative. Then the board. What is the board doing? Because I think most of the board, you are there, they are there to help sometimes to raise funds for the university. What the board is doing is that they are not there to get the setting fees.
Exactly.
The board is supposed to be out there to raise money for the university.
They solicit fundings for the institutions. You know, and the administration is there to when they receive, they carry out the implementations of fundings that come in.
Then the administration itself, what are they doing to attract other universities across the world that is outside of Liberia? Are they making effort to solicit some personal assistance from the other universities in terms of library books and things, computer? What if the administration is also doing? Because you are a minister, you're not just to sit in the office there and sign a check and make sure this. No, these are things that's supposed to be out there trying to solicit funding for the university. So it will help to supplement what the government is providing. That one said that this thing is all over the place. It's not just the executive, but the executive is the point person, because they are there to implement all these things. So this is what is happening, and this is the angle you see the children today were taking on Summer Tour and the time again.
Unlike, I'm not sure the sincerity of these angles and things what they are doing, what they are throwing out there is, I see that's just unnecessary tantrums, and more or less politics is heavily involved. Unlike here, when voters are angry with their leaders, their elected official, guess what? That anger is being demonstrated at the polling center. They will tell them, like, okay, you know what? You, Mr. George, we elected you XYZ time, and up to this point, you're just not up to the task. You're not doing anything to change the story, to do what is right. So we are not going to vote you. So these people, more or less, we throw this at the executive, of course. More or less, they are in charge. They're leading. They're supposed to do everything and stuff. But there are other people to responsible. It's a time that we look at all of those players and everybody that are involved, so that, because it seems to be that our focus has been on one side. Not that we are not talking about it, but it's been heavily placed on the executive. But there are other people there,
Yeah.
or is it people in a legislature there? I'm not sure. They're not working together. They're not having conversations, things that is supposed to do to make the country to progress. They're not having, they're not sharing note, regardless whether you're seditions or you're Liberty partisan, Unity partisans, or ANC or whatever party, and you are in a house or either the lower or upper house, to sit around a conference table and have some conversation. It's not happening.
It will not happen. And let me tell you something.
Why?
Let me just sidetrack something. When these people talking, every time I tell people, listen to your politician, listen to your lawmaker when they're speaking. You may not like that person, but sometimes try to listen to that conversation and see what you will take from there. Yesterday, I think that was on one of the local stations. They asking about the county sitting. He said the only time they sat was when the sport meet, the county league. And he said when they sat, they gave each senator representative $5,000.
For what?
He said for mobilization. And he told them to give the money to I think some group of people in one of those settlements.
So who was allotting that money? Government?
Yes. Now listen, get the interesting part. He said the county setting is the ruling party that is in charge. He said Tamofala is in charge. He said Tamofala, now one day you can't get him to do. There's no saving, he said. So then I said, what? 5,000 each. Then he said, what do you need mobilization for? Money 5,000 for what? He said, because the people lost posts. They can't you don't have to mobilize them. So why are you giving 5,000 each to see or each representative? Now, but people, these things, they don't catch these conversations, they don't catch it. You see, when they say waste, that kind of money can be contributed to education. Just imagine if all the counties representatives getting 5,000 each or for mobilization, how many representatives Boston County get? Imagine 5,000 each for them for mobilization. Why that money cannot be directed towards education? But there was something that I was going to say yesterday, and nothing caught my attention. So let me bring it back now to what I'm saying. So because of these things, it's like if the opposition, they cannot be head of any committee that will be responsible. Because with the university association, the chairman on higher education supposed to call the president of the university and say, hey, what is going on?
So instead of crying baby cried, what did he propose? Did he mention that?
No, he said,
what?
And what he said that he cannot call the county sitting because he's not the chair of the county sitting. The ruling party say they are the one that control the county. And so if the person that is in charge don't call the county sitting, you cannot do anything. And he said, Tamofala, they had never called a county sitting. The only time he made reference, he said, when there's a sport county beat coming, that one Tamofala call meeting.
Was there any, do you remember he's saying, like, because I've not listened to that, I just want us to play around here, and because I mean, everybody have their own, they have their own thing going. Have you had, do you know whether you have ever had a conversation with your colleagues, whether they are from the ruling establishment or other side, to say, hey, this is XYZ going on, but is there any other better way we can do it, as he offers of meetings, something like that he proposed, or he just making a complaint?
No, I think he just made a complaint. From what he said, he had not said he took contact with any other person.
This is what I have a problem with, and I knew this was going to happen in the long run. He started on the wrong footing. He started on the wrong footing when he took power. When he got elected, obviously it was a big win, which is okay. But he was playing directly to his base. He didn't take into consideration there is something called legacy, and in the House, it's all about the numbers. You have to work out with people in order to get something passed. It's not a ring. They're not going to pull you in a boxing or wrestling ring to say Amos George and Alfonso can't let fight. Whoever wins it, that's it. You got to lobby. You got to talk to people in order to get something going. But he started off by calling his colleagues spineless. That alone already created a roadblock, a barricade to say, oh, he wants to be the guy, the white guy. So anything that he tries to do, obviously, will be strangulated. It will never go through.
Yeah, but let me push back a little bit. So if they come to the county sitting, that doesn't need any lobby, because it's required that you meet your constituency to talk to your constituency, to brief them on development program, what is happening in the country.
I don't know. We gotta get an in-depth of it, because talking about county sitting, I don't know. There are special funds. There are special fundings that, because the county to have their own, what they call a council, a group
Yeah.
All of these people they are not elected people. So I'm not sure where this coming from and how it's done, or it's a different scenario than the normal county sitting when fundings are provided. Is different from that. Whether it's an emergency one because of was he making reference to the county meet?
No.
No, not county meet. What did you were talking about? Not county meet. What was the fund? What was the funding for?
County meet for mobilization. The county meet for mobilization, $5,000 each. So,
and it was given to whom?
He said that the guy asked him, when Lion had a county sitting, then he said, just forget about that, stop there. He said, well, the only time we had county sitting was when the county leave were coming. And Tamafala is the chair on that. He called us, we went there, and we had a discussion what we're going to do for the team. Then he said they were giving each person $5,000 each to go in the district or constituency to use it for mobilization. And he said, my money, the $5,000 they offered me, I took and gave it to a group of women organizations somewhere in Bensonville. I said they should give it to them. He said, that what happened? He said, because I figured that I don't need $5,000 for mobilization. So that is the county that the question, how can that answer came about the county sitting. But this is something all the counties supposed to do. I mean, whatever time they said, lawmakers supposed to go back to make a full report to the different constituencies about what they did and what the candidate did, and that all those things they're supposed to go back to make that presentation. So that when that question came about, and then he mentioned about the fund. So I said, but why these people, the government, be taking $5,000 to go to each representative for mobilization? I mean, that is to tell you how whisper these people are in the country and stealing, because that kind of money is loose money. Nobody account for it. What are the representatives carry to the people? You get them $1,000.
There are a lot of things on the basis of all of that. Now, front page is reporting that he vowed, which includes the road funds and all of that. According to Heath Dillon, the misappropriations of fundings that you're going to campaign against CDC candidates in Monserrato. Would that resonate?
Yeah, but it depends. I think what will happen? He would wrap that whole thing around the candidate for CDC.
Is he a clean guy, or why is he trying to prove? This was being a fraud, and his people did not come to. I mean, that's the only thing about it. Everybody is just insincere. People are so protective of one of their own. So if you're seditions, you support your defense seditions. If you are opposition to your defend someone from in the opposition bloc, even if they are doing the wrong.
Dylan, I mean, that characterizing
because of the election, is he trying to organize to gain the spotlight, to see him to try to present himself as a deal maker? This is what I'm going to do, and people are going to listen to me. Is that a game he playing now, or what?
I would not characterize Dylan as a corrupt person, but I think he talks too much as a politician.
Does he talk the right talk, or what?
No, he talks too much. And if you are a politician, you talk too much, you will always get into problem, even though
he lies in his talk. Does he lie in his talking? Because anybody who's talked too much, you tend to forget what you talk. So then lying comes into play.
Some of the mistakes, when that ticket, look what he did there. Then the $6,000 business, look what he did there.
The car.
You know, just be honest. Look, this is something for the office. It's not my personal car. It's the office car assigned to the office. If I leave today, I cannot take this car. Simple. If you want to advocate that, look, what we see here, because of the expenses, I will urge my colleagues or the government to try to buy a smaller car than buying a luxury car. That would be a fair statement. But
does he close the gap of saying someone to be like a deal breaker because he started on the wrong footing?
No, he did
the manner in which he addressed his colleagues at the time, he wasn't paving a long way relationship to get things changed.
Things were all ahead. I think from the when things were, he thought he was above himself at the time. But I think he realizing that, hey, even though people must be corrupt, they will be corrupt and this and that, but you still need to talk to them to have certain things accomplished. So I think he getting to realize that I cannot move this thing here. I don't care how much noise you make, you can't move it because it is a democracy. Majority always carry
simple things. It's unfortunate, the politics in Liberia, and it makes it so difficult because people really don't follow things. Unlike here, because there are some things you're not supposed to do. You do it, that's the end of your political career. There's no reason to lie on things that you'd have no business of lying. And even you lie, be bold and face the microphone. But you will carry on, because when he came, he decided, I brought Lina Dodo here, who broke the news from front page.
Yeah.
He was very much vehement. He's senator at the time that he stand by his word. You're not going to do it. You are going to challenge front page. And when they release it at the end of the day, he succumbed. Now, if those things were to happen in the Western world, believe me, media will sleep to your door, Marvin. And the next thing you're going to call on an unexpected press conference, and that could potentially be the end of your political career. We don't look at now. Is the electors in Liberia, are they sophisticated enough? Are they thinking ahead of the game? Are they having a second thought? Well, this time, the way we did it before, we're going to do it differently. Taking into consideration all that is happening, to ask each and everyone, regardless of this person is in their camp or is they affiliating with that party, and that's maybe the candidate or the expiring. Would it take that into consideration? Look, let's take a holistic approach to this whole thing. It's all about Liberia. We need to make sure to have the right people elected. Have we learned that lesson, or are we just wasting our time with having to get another headache, and then at the end of the day we'll come right back here again and do the same old thing?
Well, Mr. So this is a very tricky thing, and the statement that says sometimes you can only free the slave if the slave ready to be free. Some analogy like that. And this is not insult to Liberian people, but this is the core truth. What we see happening, you got people who are telling you that the system is all right. Oh, he's trying. Oh, you're giving chance. And the question sometimes I ask people, you see this system is good for you. But in almost 5 years, if I ask you what had changed in your life in terms of improving your own life, you cannot tell me. But you're telling me the government is trying. And then I began to wonder, who are these people? Because Mr. So,
is there any good side of this government that you know, Mr. George? Any good thing about this government?
Yeah, Mr. So, there's something that they're trying to do, but what I always say, as a politician, it's all good to honor promise. Then you over deliver. But when you over promise and you can't deliver,
and then you are not politician. You are not politicians. Always exaggerate. They always raise the bar because it's what the electors wants to hear. It all depends the kind of people the base they are playing to. So you would never hear them. They will always tell you this is, they will always put a big bait out there because that bait, they want somebody to grab that bait.
Now, but here's the thing here. When you make when you make those bold promises, those huge promises, and you cannot deliver that when you get caught up in a problem, and then it becomes difficult to explain.
So so on the flip side of it, let's talk on the flip side of it here too. They make promises, they are not delivering. You don't know any of the good. Is the opposition walking a fine line to explain or to present themselves, their agenda, their vision for the country? Are they doing enough so that it can even have, if I was sedition and say, okay, and I come to realize that the government is not doing enough or the government is not doing anything, and I turn to an undecided voter, it means you want to look for an alternative.
Yeah.
So the CDC, not the CDC, the CPP or the opposition came together to position themselves as an alternative to the ruling establishment, for which they want state power, which of course they have. But seeing what we're seeing and what is unfolding right now, can they make that case?
Let me go back to something I said. I didn't say that the government will not bring anything good. I said they are trying with some things. But it's not the expectation that they promise the people. Not anything not taking place. But at the pace which is taking place, they find it very difficult. Because when they were out there, they thought it was going to be roses. And now they're in the house and they're seeing the difficulties now they are encountering. So that's why I was saying a good honor promise and overperform. But they overpromise and now they are underperforming. So you see, it become a pressure for them. Now, to the issue of the opposition, I
will soon put a number out here so that we'll have participants as well.
They are not doing anything to give what are independent or to sway people towards them. Because at this time, I think the opposition should be on this government back, pointing out the ills and giving solution to the voters. But it's not happening now. So that is disappointing to the electorate. So that's why you see some people are saying, hey, what I would do, I would just vote for the ruling party. And I tell people that's the biggest mistake to make, because your situation is not being improved. The people are going to 6 years, they have not done anything to change your life. What do you think if you get in 6 more years, where they will not be saying, hey, next year, after say I got to run again?
Yeah, but yeah, is the thing here. When people begin to point out some of the little concrete, it might be little, right? And if the ruling establishment, considering what is unfolding right now, if it stays like that, if nothing changed, if they can't pivot 360 degrees to find their voice, to find their tone, that would be something. Wow. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see here. Hello.
Hey.
Hello? Hold on 1 second. What's going on here? Hello, caller?
Yeah, hello. Are you hearing me now?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hold on. Okay, let me see. I think the phone low. Hello? Hello, caller? Are you hearing me?
Hello? Hello?
I'm not sure why I'm not getting him. Aki, are you there? Hello? Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Pa George, are you getting him?
Let him speak. I can hear, but very faint.
Are you getting the call? Are you getting the caller?
Yeah. No, he's far off, like he's far off from the phone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
No, can't hear him.
Again, let me express my deepest condolences to Mr. Toll and his family. I pray that God can console them. So sorry to hear that news.
Oh, okay, Ali, thank you so much. Okay, they say they are hearing you. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The former sedition.
Deepest condolences to Mr. Toll and his family for the news that you just broke on this platform. I feel so bad about that. Pray that God can console every one of them. Well, having said that, let me say thanks to the Lpr family again. I'm monitoring the show from YouTube. So
Okay.
And a quick recommendation, or I don't know whether a recommendation or not. You know, I worked this morning and I was following a show, a 50-50 show, and you guys, and you're relay it. So I'll have it difficult to really get in the show on Facebook because you let that keep breaking, you know, like that. So we're really hard to point.
Yeah, they're having a very tough time with the internet system there. So it's kind of, because actually then when we are relaying, we are getting direct input from what they are getting. So if anything screw off from there, it means we will, because we are just feeding into their system. But anyway, we'll do something.
I just want to flag down because it's been a long stuff on our whole thing. So, but not to bore you too much with that, I'll follow the show. However, let me just the issue you raised about the University of Liberia. I remember when I in Liberia, I was there before. I know the in and out of that university campus, the things that students go through. I remember back in the time we used to put our own armchair just to go in class. At times you would enter the class is leaking, and sometimes it's so difficult to even have seat to sit. You get it armchair in your hand, but no space in the class. I know by this side you have improved a little bit, but just to tell you the kind of thing that students go through over there. Most of the books in the library are archaic books. They are not recent books, old books, old edition of information that you can't even relate to in our modern time right now. You know?
Who's to be blamed?
Well, this is what I want to say. The government of Liberia does not have any interest in the future of the young people. They would do their best, number one, to sit with the student community, sit with the university people, sit with stakeholders, and really address the issue. I expect that you have a roundtable conversation. Let's address this educational issue holistically. What's really going on in our educational system? You know, don't just put me money small, another government can increase a little bit and say, oh, the dream work. No, we got to, if that conference, wherever everybody, all stakeholders sit on the deck and sit with the student community, sit with everybody and brainstorm about what can we do to solve the issue here. Because the issue is affecting the future. You understand? None of the people over there that children can sit at the university or to go to school there. None of them can sit there. The children outside Liberia schooling there. Because number one, they talk about adequate internet, adequate online service. That the university don't even have internet or adequate power tools. They talk about online service, talk about free education. So they just come up with programs, but there's no sustainability. There's no innovation. Even the university faculty or who head the university, you don't see them coming or any kind of program.
Okay. Okay.
So they are giving all this and that.
All right. So hold on, don't go. We have another call on the line. Who knows? The person is going to speak directly to what you are saying. They will differ or maybe come back at you, so you have the opportunity. But let me go to this number. Don't go away, Pa George. Please hold on. 43 number 3356. Good evening, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yes, good evening. How are you, sir?
Good.
This is Sharif.
Mr. Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Indictment here say nothing happening, this and that. Let's hear you. What's your side of the story?
Yeah, well, let me just use this occasion to extend my deepest condolences to our own big brother.
The liberal progressive, eh?
Almighty Allah, will be able to comfort and console him through this difficult moment. Our prayers are with him. Having said that, I listened and I read your topic. Big brother, so to you and to many Liberians that are listening, the challenges of Liberia, they are enormous.
Mm.
Under no circumstances or condition can the Prince Sheriff use this particular platform and say that this government can absolutely solve all of the problems at once. It's not possible. The one thing I have observed in other countries around us, I saw the collective effort of every citizen of that particular nation. They put their effort together, they put their resources together to solve problems. But it is unfortunate that in Liberia, we all look up to government, and government, even if we have the opportunity to make intervention. And this is the reason why politicians will continue to use us against our own will. Because over the period, we presented ourselves as lean dogs that have no power in our own, and we depend on these people. Now, why am I saying what I am saying? I listened to my brother who talked about the University of Liberia. Big brother, so what we are seeing at the level of the University of Liberia is unprecedented, and we as Liberians must begin to commend this government for such an effort.
What specific? What specific? Prince.
On top of the progress that this government has made over the period. One, for a government, especially this real-led government, that is faced with so many challenges, to take the bull by the horn and say, look, our people need to learn. There are all issues of priority, but we think building the human resource capacity of our people, of our children, of the generation to take over from us is important. Let us be able to give them free tuition. I think it's something that all of us.
So what? Yeah, okay, Prince. Hold on 1 second. Let's keep our audience in the loop here as well. What is unprecedented? Unprecedented. What specific you want to point out concrete now? Let's not make it abstract.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What we talk about the tuition. You understand the tuition waiver that government is paying for every student that is within government institution, university.
Do we have a number of beneficiaries of those students? Because it's kind of like conflicting, it's kind of like confusing, very convoluted. When you talk to other people, say it's not happening. When you talk to other certain group of people, say it's happening. So, do we know exactly where to find this information so that this thing can be put to a rest?
That there will be people who say it is not happening. Now, you can deduce that there are people who are staying in political trauma.
Look, you know, Prince Sherry talks about why he can't come on the platform one day to discuss the issue.
Liberia was almost like a death trap. People on this land, I attended the African Methodist Episcopal University. On so many occasions, some of my prof used to, some of my lecturers, they were also teaching at the University of Liberia. I went there for some of my classes. I sat in some classrooms at the University of Liberia. Now, I know how deplorable that particular university has been over the period. To the extent that we also, you will be surprised that it will take almost about 2 or 3 months before you can be able to process all of your academic, let's say, thing and have what we call registration complete in order to have all of your process complete. People used to
So okay, let me ask. Hold on now. Hold on. We're not going to roller skate here. I'm going to be going to the other guy, Mr. Josh, who respond. But in 30 seconds here, put it into context. Do you think explaining? Of course, the challenges it will continue to exist. No anybody. That's what I'm saying. Even you take Obama and Bill Clinton and say make them president in Liberia. This one, they're going to meet up with there will be a problem, and that problem will continue to exist. But do you think the government, the CDC government, has taken some sort of holistic approach, and I know, or where to find their priority things to address? Do you think they are done enough with the universities of Liberia? And I'm not just only blaming the government, and that's what we're talking. We have other institutions, we have other people that make up this tool to also be part of national buildings, the administrations, the board of directors. People should be all out there to find fundings together. But do you think the GOL has led this champion for them to do that?
The GOL, the government of Liberia, led by His Excellency President Dr. George Manneh, have done more than enough and is willing to even do more to move beyond. The first serious step is to make sure that our students are kept in classroom, that they are not out of class because they don't have money to be there for that particular semester. That is the first serious step.
How many students are beneficiary of this whole scholarship thing here? Do you know?
The University of Liberia doing 35,000 students, maybe 30 to 35,000 students.
Okay.
Is one, you saw what the government introduced, and that was politicized, so that students can be able to do all of their registration online. Somebody jump and say, we even get covered there, we even get this there, and what this will happen? Look, brother, so if we want to enjoy the benefits of the fruits, we must be willing to make sure we go in the swamp and be able to step in the mud and take all of the weeds, so that at the end of the day we can plant our seed.
Okay, all right. Let me bring Mikey and then go back to George. Thank you so much. Mikey, you want to respond?
Yeah. I just got a couple of things I want to just put my brother in check there. First of all, Prince Harry, nice hearing your voice. Sometimes on your platform, it's not easy to call through them, but thank you for coming on this far. Yeah. Everything Prince Harry talked about, especially the condition of the University of Liberia, I think he talked about the time probably around 2008, 9, 10, or 2 or something like that. And I found the university was really, really bad. It was really, really bad. The classes were terrible. But like I said from the beginning, there have been some changes there. But my approach on the issue here, which I want for Prince to understand, that there's too much of complaining. The province is almost, we all know, Georgia was in the Senate. Our current grade was there. Buffer Timothy, who is the speaker, he was there. They all saw the problem. They said the problem was coming to change it. In fact, you guys came up with this mantra that change for hope. So don't come and give excuses and say, oh, the problem too huge, I'll get something one time. We know that's not a problem. But your approach on solving the problem will tell people how well you are organized approaching and before solving the problem. You look at the budget. Let's look at the budget. Let's look at the budget support towards education in the country. Let's look at the budget for the speaker office, the president, the investigator. Ain't no other Nigerian as one family. Let's sit down and look at our priorities. We cannot have a government where we spend more money on government officials buying cars, crash cars, stuff like that, and we abandon things that are very much important to our future. Those are things that we can address for me. I'm not just criticizing the government because I see, like you say, quote unquote, and lazy, we complaining and stuff like that. No. Put your priorities in order and work on it. And then when you say Georgia have done more than enough, I think that's an insult to the Liberian people. Georgia have done more than enough for the University of Liberia, Prince Harry. That's an insult. In fact, the Liberian people have done enough for Georgia because this identical individual came out in less than 6 months. You broke down you want that flying private jet around here. So Liberian people have done more than that. So don't use that word on it. Please. I think you should take that back. And then the next thing I want to say is that, Mr. So, like I said, the educational sector, our stakeholders, the government, the student body, they need to have, whether it's a corporate or something, we need to sit down and look at the issue because it's not just the university level, it's the high school, elementary, across the country. We want to see our country having a bright future. You can't be putting a graduate or university graduate or high school graduate out there and they are not enough to face the challenges outside there. We have to prepare them. Right now, in the modern society of living, you go to university, you see people, you see students with laptops, they got Wi-Fi system running. And for me, I hear the government from the beginning when they come out with free education. But when it comes out free education, there should be environment that will be suitable for that free education to go on smoothly. You can't have them protesting 24/7, causing prime minister or government future. You think the education system going on smoothly? No. So there are challenges. Everybody got to sit on the table, find a solution, and then we can solve the problem. You understand? That's my own issue with that.
Okay, guys, gentlemen, thank you so much. Let me go back to my man. Thank you. If there's anything, you feel free to call back. Thank you so much. Mr. George.
Yeah. You know, I like Prince Sherry. You come oh, free tuition. I gave it to the president. I gave it to the government, good. But what is the environment? You give the people free tuition, but the environment, is it conducive for learning? Is it adequate that this free tuition that the people utilize it? No. Laboratory, lab, everything is done. Window broken, bathroom, people cannot use the bathroom. So the tuition you talk about free, what is the answers of that tuition? You have to take a holistic approach to this thing here. So when you come out, all the government had done all this thing, yes, fine, they give free tuition. But what's about the other issues that go along to make that tuition for people to benefit? Is it the condition existing there? Is it favorable? No, it's not favorable. So these are the
things started again.
What government needs to do, Mr. Soul, to black collar, call a conference on higher education.
This thing, I think it went on this thing Bluetooth. I come in, Mr. Joy. Hello, Tia, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. Okay, good evening. Something, what if on here? Go ahead, we're hearing you.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Mm.
Sign your sheet. To sign your control sheet, you have to go meet with a person who sign your sheet so that you pay $100 or $150 before they sign. We used to fight online. This regime came, at least they call it off. We went through a lot of struggle on our campus. The internet issue people talking about today, was it there? That from University of Liberia, those issue was non-issue. Nobody was thinking about it because it wasn't there. Even the armchairs people talking about today, we used to hold our own chairs. Sometimes no chairs in the classroom. People would stay. At that time, there was no internet for people to post it all over. That's why today it's looking at strange things to Liberian people. But let me say this. I think we all need to work together as Liberians so that we can see the betterment of our country. University of Liberia issue, we all need to tackle it holistically. It's not only government. University of Liberia got a lot of products out there. They can come up with a plan. The administration over there can come up with a plan.
Okay, okay. Let me hold you right there. Let me hold you right there. You know, we have to talk it here. We have to talk it here and there. If you are appointed, if you are in charge, right? If a responsibility is dedicated to you, you have to do everything possibly you can to go out there to make sure you find a way out of no way, you know, to bring in resources or do stuff. Now, This tendency of us, people that are being charged with responsibility, and that's where the blaming of the president comes in, because if I appoint you to be a minister or a director or some sort of a managing director or something, and every other day having some sort of drama, chaotic situation, and if you keep that person there, then of course they're going to drag you into it. Some of these people, they are not doing, they are giving government a bad reflection because they are not working, and they kept being in that position. What can we do? All right, that it's just not only, there are three branches of government, and all of these branches should work simultaneously, but they have different responsibilities, but they are all connected in order for the country to keep functioning.
Yes.
If they are not playing their part, if the executive not playing her part, and the judiciary playing her part, and the legislature not playing her part, you're going to have a paralyzed government because there's no coordination. Nothing going to work. What can we do that people that are charged with the responsibility be held accountable? And when it comes to the president, that one, he's going to take the bull by the horn because he appoints those people. And if you don't want to have a managing director, Lpr-Tv or NPA, where every other time employees on strike, things coming to a stay, continuous people now, business and services is not rolling, then of course he or she is not a good manager, So what can we do?
Yes, I agree. I agree with you. But the issue here is the president gave you responsibility to do certain jobs, certain piece of job. There where I was going. As an administrator, once you have been given certain tasks to perform, you got to perform to the level that will convince the man who appointed you. Though sometimes in administration things happen. But
what could be the example?
When it comes to University of Liberia, let's look at during that emergency time. At the time I was there, that the emergency every time soup used to have. So people used to say he was not doing anything. Every time, every semester, they got to demonstrate. So this time around, no demonstration when it comes to school fees. But look at the demonstration that took place today. They're talking about 24 million, 25 million the money that road fund. The road fund, there have been nobody found guilty. Why should you boo at somebody on campus as a student? When you're studying, you are somebody who dare to learn. I think when there's an ill in society, you can speak. But you cannot go on and boo at someone who try to seek your interest. Because the renovation is ongoing, the people want to inspect to see how the renovation is going on. If there's issues, so they can solve it. You bring at those people, calling their roles. It doesn't offer well for Liberians.
But hold on. Let me ask you.
Well, but when it comes to administrator, they need to step out. And the president of the University of Liberia, he need to step out to see how best you'll solicit funds to get all.
Okay, quickly. Yeah. So if the president doesn't step out, who should step out?
Okay, there where we got lawmakers in our country. They need to invite the best to see why the university is looking like the way it looks. You cannot put everything on the president. The president
I'm taking a systematic approach. Let's say, for example, for discussion purposes, the lawmakers are not doing their part. What next?
Okay, when the lawmakers are not doing their part, it is the prerogative of the president to keep you or to get rid of you and put new person there. But once the president gets confident in you that you can do it, the only thing is the oversight responsibility of the lawmaker should prevail on you, so that you will be able to do your best, that you will not sleep. Because sometimes when people are not talking to you, you feel like you're doing the best.
So do you think? Yeah, and part of the problem here I was in Liberia recently. I will be forced to inject this thing here. And I made that clear when I went to the Ministry of Public Works. I had a land issue, my place, Boystown or Benstown or whatever, Kenninja area there. So when I went there, you know, the community leaders, they say they needed to do survey, blah, 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 and all the kind of thing. I'm like, okay, I like to follow the system. What I don't, it's not an issue of not liking the system or not liking somebody. I like to follow the lead. I like to follow the system. So I went at the Ministry of Public Works. And when I got there, I was surprised. Things that were displayed to me. This lady, what's her name? They get a zoning area, the zoning department. When you enter Ministry of Public Works, right on the left, first door, I think second door on the left. So I went and I said, hey, this is what's going on. And I needed, you know, to get a zoning team. You know, I want to know where my stop, Mr. Joyce, to go in. In fact, I offered to have a conversation. But when a guy took me in his office, the structure, the layout, the diagram of the zoning code, how it's supposed to be, you know, both business, private, and all of those kind of things, it was so explicit. It's everything looks good and tight on the book. And then the question I asked, why can't you people, you know, there are two things. Land business is a serious problem in every country, and every now and then. If you get 2-3 people chance here to call, they will tell you there's some sort of issue going on, people either encroaching or people selling this multiple times. So I said, why can't you people get out to explain this thing? Like, okay, no, we don't do it, we get it. I said, yeah, I know you do it, but do you think you're doing enough? What I'm seeing here, I mean, I'm not saying people say, I see it for myself and I handle it. This is something that you need to talk about every day. It should be a beat that should sing. And you keep this photo here and you assume that people know it and stuff like that. You know, so there are some things that are really good in place. But again, what makes it bad? Because nobody is talking anything about it. They are not selling it. And if they are selling it, they are not strategic in selling it and how for this product to go out. You know, I'm just saying that there are some things in place. There are some bad things, and there are some other good things that is happening. But if you can't get it out there, if you are unable to sell it properly, nobody would know that anything good going on. We would just stay outside of the fence and just draw a conclusion that nothing is happening. But a guy, one guy, Emmanuel, I was very much impressed. I think he's been in that ministry for a hell of a long time, and he knows exactly what they are doing. The office is so, I'm making specific work. I said the zoning, very, very organized. Everything there, businesses, where they're supposed to do. I saw like some sort of citation or given to a big company because they were billing, they were doing something without, you know, in the violating the zoning law. You understand? And they were citing the people. The citation, you could see it. So why they can't get all kind of things in the public for people to know this is why it's happening? I went to ACA. When you pay, where you supposed to pay to trace your document, you stay right in the compound there. They will call you. They will do it. These are some other good things because land thing is a very serious thing. And I asked them, but why these things here? Why can't you guys make some meaningful, you know, loud noise and thing around here to say, hey, if you have land issue, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. But it's not happening. And that's the same thing. And it's very bad. So then, if that is not happening, it falls on the national government.
Yes. Yeah, that's the issue.
But don't get me wrong. There are some bad, there are some other agency and other ministry. You go there, it's terrible. It's horrible. It's very disorganized.
Yes, thank you.
But you know, we just have to say as it is. But I when I went to public work, the zoning area, and I tell you, in a day or two, by the time we made that appointment, the team came out. The only thing you gotta do, you gotta buy their gas. And I was pissed. I said, this is not supposed to be. Yeah, but yeah, it shouldn't be that way. Only one mobile. And guess what? When people going out there, you got to pay. These are people that bring revenue. So why can't they be mobile? Even if they don't have car, these people should be able to get like these plenty motorbike that be divided and they give it to those people because at least they can make them to get to their terrain much quicker, faster, and even go in the field because cars, sometimes the traffic It's crazy. And now I'm telling the directors, why can't you convince government? You know how many people come in here before you get something where you got to pay a setting, you got to get a permit from Public Works and people paying. So why these people that are going to fee, people got to come and buy their gas or fuse their gas for them to go? That is unfair. It's not right. It's a challenge. So it reminds me of the challenge Prince, my man Prince, were talking about. But I think there are some things that they are doing good, but they need to step out and be very strategic, because things that are bringing in revenue, making the country budget, or bringing income, or some building the economy, bringing dividend to the government, you got to invest more inside, like that zoning area, because you got to have that permit now before you can get any construction going.
It's so the people don't know that. They don't know that.
Thank you so much, Tia. Let me go to my man. Do I have somebody else on the line here? Was there with Tia? Okay, hold on one second. Christopher, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead before I go back to Mr. George. We'll soon be wrapping up, sir. Oh boy, Prince Chevy.
Yeah, Mr.
Somebody calling Prince Chevy. Prince, you want to fire in protest?
You know what happened? Liberia.
Go ahead, Chris, and then I'll go.
Imagine Liberia as a country is like a child born with a global developmental delay. That's how I see the entire country to be. Because global developmental delay.
Oh boy.
It's a medical and scientific, type of diagnosis, but at the same time, our Liberia is suffering. But look at Liberia. Look at the country we call Liberia. 1847. The entire place is just terrible. I'm not even blaming it on President Weah. I'm just saying it's just bad. It will take a lot of work. Everybody got, because there's something going on. I heard today in the Senate the people talking about town chief getting paid $8,000. The senators are discussing about town chief getting paid $8,000 a month. They are getting paid $15,000 a month, but then they want to be critical of the town chief getting $8,000. But they're not critical about themselves getting $15,000.
Christopher.
Yes, that's what they were discussing today.
$8,000?
The Senate was discussing it today. And they even got mad that the president is appointing town chiefs. But before then, in the 80s, we were electing town chiefs. Who changed the thing? The president must start appointing instead of electing our town chiefs.
I think we need to return to that municipal state of let these people be elected.
That's the president.
Who decided to politicize it that we have gone back 50 years? Now they're in the Senate asking questions, saying, why town chief will get 8,000? In fact, the president has to appoint town chiefs. But you guys made a law. You guys decided that.
It has to be repealed.
So why you can't, yes.
I have to look at the Constitution. I don't know what
I mean. This thing is just.
I'm not too sure.
The Constitution is not rock. The Constitution can be amended. It can be fixed for this time and generation. If you see something wrong, then you'll go back and sit down and say, let's change the one so it can fit the time that we are living in, the century we are living in. That's why America, they're not smarter than us, but they sit down and they strategize. What happened today on our campus too, it was very bad. The students had to learn how to sit down. So in America, we have security on campus. We have police presence on campus. The students have their student government. They speak, they take part. Even before we get something back, the student government and the senator, the student senators got to go and advocate for us. So that we, the students, after they take out their payment and wherever they get us something back to put in our pocket. These things are channeled through the student body, government. But you see people there, you see people booing at ministers, you see people, their campus need to be fixed, man. That campus killed a lot of people. Our university campus, a lot of people now die from that place. A lot of government are suffer. We gotta fix it.
Thank you so much, Chris. Let me go to my man, Mr. George. We almost out of time to wrap it. Mr. George, are you there?
Yeah.
All right.
Look,
I think that's we done for the evening with calls. Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, Mr. Sue. Let the people understand.
Is that what $8,000 to pay by chiefs?
I think that local Liberian dollar is not US dollar, Liberian dollars. I was following
people can't even brush their own water pump in the town. What they paying $8,000? Why it can't be US dollar, obviously, I think so.
No, that 8,000 Liberian dollar, man. But I will go back to watch the tape. But because I know the Constitution, the 1986 Constitution, I will go and look at it. But clan chief is supposed to be elected by the people. So, but I don't know what are the chief.
That thing there, that whole thing just Senate mayors, they used to be elected, and I think it's not that way because that sort of gives power to the people. That's how it used to be.
Yes.
All that thing changed. It just turned around of lately.
If
I say lately, I'm not George Weirton. I think that was around.
It came out. Ellen.
Yeah.
Ellen. Because I think
you get 5,000.
Yeah.
A month.
So, but what I wanted to say to these people, I hear them trying to condemn me soon. But the history, they should go back. And secondly,
it's LD. At least.
Yeah, booing people is part of the process. That's freedom of speech. They didn't attack them physically. The booing them, that's freedom of speech. But the thing I will tell people, the records are there. When the speaker, Buffer Chima, was insulting policemen with the very university student at the time when they were in opposition. So look, Tobasi, you just go and look at the tape. This is why happening, and today a content when you put on the other side, it was good. Now you're on the end at the receiving end today, you say it bad. When sedition was booing, when the student black Ellen Johnson car, she had to get up to talk to them. That's all part of the process. That's democracy. So you get over it. The boost I'm at you get over it. The only thing that they didn't attack them physically. That's it. Those are all part of the freedom. Yeah. So you just leave it. The idea we are seeing, and some are seeing, is a holistic approach to the university issue of all the education system in Liberia. But when it comes to the university system, let the university, the government, the student body, get on the round table, and put forward a grievance and let the government tell the student how they're going to solve this issue. Piecemeal will not solve this problem. And one more I want to tell everybody, this free thing, I don't believe in it. This free thing, this is why I put too much pressure on government. We are not a socialist society. If we believe in capitalists, if we are a capitalist society, then people must pay for something. Not everything should be free. Why we cannot put 1 cent tax on basic on certain commodity in Liberia so that money can go to higher institutions? Like for instance, you can say, hey, the national lottery, establish a national lottery that every ticket buy 10 cents go to the National Education Fund. Beer, if you buy one bar of beer, 2 cents go to the educational fund. Cigarette, if you buy cigarette, let 1 cent go to the National Education Fund to help the university and other universities around the country. Why the government cannot set any kind of mechanism so people can pay the little taxes to help augment what the government is doing? You say all should come. Okay, these are some suggestions I'm putting forward. Will the government buy into it? These are the things we're supposed to be talking. Then secondly, people will be willing to do this thing. But the accountability of that funds, that's another one. Whether it will be meeting, apply equally according to those institutions. That's another whole thing we got to discuss about it. So, yeah, the problem here is nobody is saying government has all the solution, but the government must take the lead and put forward policy, bring up ideas that the people can brainstorm so they can help to solve the problem, not the piecemeal. And Mr. Nathaniel Market and Samuel Tour, I understand. You people are the one that running the country. But you people know the student politics. There are certain times you need not to go on campus. You know it, not Samuel Tour. Nathaniel Market, you know it. Stay away. Send other people to do an inspection. But Mr. Tour, guy want to say they are the face of the government. Everywhere they want to be. Samuel 12, Manke, yes, we are the people that are doing everything. And now, these are some of the things that they run into. You know the students. These guys are not students to you people. They see people where you're living, your lifestyle. I said, you think they like the lifestyle people living and then they're struggling? And you people are one time there, and today they see people that you people are not the guy. Most of the higher grade from the University of Liberia, all the guys, most of them from there, they went through the same problem. Today they are in state power. Why they cannot advocate to have that place fixed? They are not strangers. All of them. Why they can advocate to have that place fixed? The government and President Weah don't have the priority right. Because if you look at the government budget, where you see the highest money going, is that the priority. The executive mansion, look at that money, the executive mansion, the Minister of State, look at it. Those are the priority they set. So the education system is not a priority. Because if it was the priority, would have put in more money. If what they put in would have been more than that. But you look at the budget, you see.
I wonder what are the leaders they advocated for that sort of those penal change that were put into it.
And they didn't advocate, they just say, okay, that one will get it, okay, I'll give it to them now.
And they get their own cut. Okay, well. Okay, that's our man Amos George, based in Atlanta, Georgia. What's the final message? Why Labrador is a funny thing? What do you think gonna happen? What do you think we're gonna hear or happen again tomorrow or day after? They start going to court now in a few days again.
Mr. So
with
the country is unpredictable because tomorrow the news you hear, you start scratching your head. So you don't even know what.
I was scratching yourself already.
Yeah, you don't know what about tomorrow, you know. But you know, so they cut I will listen to it.
Sinking down,
What do you call Bureau of Concession?
Yeah. I think I saw.
You saw that video?
I saw that. Some news. That video, there was some news. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think what we need to do now, what the government need to do is, instead of shipping blame, that bottom of 1847, I'm tired, Mr. So I get tired about the 1847. If we continue to reflect on 1847, then we'll not make no progress. Almost 200 years ago, we started talking about the people. We have the country right here now. It's what we should be talking about. What can we do to develop the country instead of continuing to go way back to make references way back? Yeah, we can make references sometime, but 1847, what will we get from there? What will we get from there? It's what is in front of now. How can we move the country forward this 21st century? That is what we should be talking about, this modern day. I understand. People told you at university, yes, question leaking, but you are there today. What are you doing that the other people come and improve on? This is conversation we should be having, national conversation we should be having. But again, the pioneer, Mr. So, the stakeholders are not trusted. And when the stakeholders are not trusted, it will be difficult to get people to work along with the stakeholder. And that's just the reality.
Okay, there we have it. Amos George is a senior analyst of the Liberia Public Radio, Lpr-Tv, based in Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. George, we want to thank you so much for your time, and hopefully it will be back here during the week. I'm not sure whether Liberia are not going to be on, but Friday we're going to be on right here, and we're going to have more conversation about the country in a very honest fashion. I'm waiting to have the opposition folks here as well. I mean, they're looking for the job. Whether they're going to come, that's another thing. But we'll open our microphone up to them, extend our request to them to come, be both opposition, government. But the reason I want to focus on it because they are posting as an alternative. I need to know exactly. I think that's what I'm eager to have a conversation with Mr. Comey because there are things he putting forward. How his government going to look like? It's good to give him the opportunity to expand and talk a little bit more as to how it's going to be done. To see what are he going to. I'm not a guy who is in favor of increasing the size of government. I believe in less spending, no wasteful spending. So some of these things we need to know. They have all of these groups, different auxiliaries, friends of this, that. What would become of these groups or these auxiliaries when they take president? When they become president or when they take state power? Would they be a commentator? Would that be the dissolutions of those groups? What is the backing that is involved for them to do what they are doing, or are they coming to increase and put more pressure on government? Those are things that we're going to be talking about. I want to thank you so much for your time this evening, and of course our viewers and listeners, callers, and those that are tweeting online. Harrietta, Conan Manga, the country is in total reverse. Oh Lord, my goodness.
It's not about.
Let's get some reaction from our onliners here. Again, views and opinions expressed here does not in any way is a view of the management and staff of the Liberia Public Radio, but we allow people to exercise their freedom of speech, freedom of the press, including freedom of association. As long as it does not infringe on our institution, is done in a civil context, and that's okay. The only thing we don't accommodate here insult. No, you can differ with the government in policy. Why you say I don't want this person to be, I want this person to be defeated. Well, that's a political way. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. Okay, this is what Christopher was saying. The Senate Statutory Committee of Internal Affairs Public hosts hearing with Minister of Internal Affairs Authorities on the local government. Okay, Christopher, that's a research analyst for Mr. Prince Sharif Palavaho, watching for Florence Tallers, watching from Minnesota. Florence, thank you for sharing your evening with us. If this is your first time, all of the first time, those of you watching, we say you are wholeheartedly to welcome. Like our page, just go to Facebook search engine and type in Liberia Public Radio. Follow the page. Also look for the icon, the icon bell. And then when you tap or click on it, there will be a drop down, and just tap the one that says all notification. That will include live videos. So once we come on, you're going to get that live video. That's the easier way to follow. Play the video, tap on it, the bell. There's going to be a drop down button. Tap on the one, highlight the one that says all notifications. That way you'll be notified on Lpr radio, and the way we and Sky all teaming up, so you just going to get that alert. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Tiet, Emmanuel Tiet, for your contribution here this evening, calling and stuff like that. Joining us spend months in just back. Yeah, after I was saying Liberia just came less than 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Jalad Johnson, Helen government, when they said 25,000 people failed the U.S. entrance, it was not because those students failed, but the Harvard University graduate giving good descriptions of who she is. The U.S. buildings roof were damaged by storms, and the university has requested them to help repair those damaged buildings at the UL. And they refuse, so they have to deny those students their opportunities of entering UL because the buildings were leaking. Oh my goodness. Okay, Basi Tassius, Liberia, our major problem is maintenance. Yeah, maintenance is a huge problem. People use things recklessly. They don't. It's. I don't know. They take government to be the least thing. They go and just use government and say, "Oh, government will fix it." I don't know why people don't. That's a serious problem. Thank you so much, Bessie, for that observation. And our man Duaro Tai, good evening, well said. They do not know that Boeing is another form of protest in Texas. Residents of Ohio to boo their state, boo their state governance. Okay, so that's it. I don't have a problem with it. And what you said, Mr. George, sometimes you gotta know the terrain, man. They're not everywhere. When you go there, you know at a certain point in time. Try to have when things are stabilized, you go there, people pay attention to you. But if you want to be, by instance, something to say, Joseph Boycott a stabilizer, how can he be stabilizer when things fall into apart right before his lap under his feet? Then he says stabilizer. No, there are certain things when you see the tension is high, listen to signals. I observe. There are people there to see, But when you want to be like your deal breaker, you want to be like a Ralph Emmanuel and say, okay, in the middle of this, I'm going to neutralize it. Sometimes it doesn't work because everybody there is in a very high voltage. Nobody wants to listen to you at that kind of point in time. And it's true, like I said, most of these people, things they do, be in the oppositions group calling themselves advocates, damn advocates, jealousy, and they also want to be in the fray. Who don't want to be like Jeff Koji, young man, city mayor? What it means, who don't want to be the Samuel Tour, who is a close confidant of the president? Who don't want to be that Nathaniel McGee, who is the final boss tab when he's put your photo on the president, there's potential you get where you're supposed. Who don't want to be like those people? Of course. And it just took the argument. They were there yesterday, they are there. Yeah. So what is the guarantee? All these ones are screaming and yelling now, will do this. They all want to be in the picture. Give them state power tomorrow. The next day they start talking in their esophagus, their voice, all the small, tiny voices, all of them voice will grow overnight because in fact they start smoking cigar and all of that.
Mr. So, here's the thing here. 75 other guys on that campus, they're not working. They got no jobs. All of them play into it. And you coming out, Bryant, and flash your car, and the company, we're trying to renovate the building. Come on. Those guys doesn't want to listen to that crap.
I know. All right. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening. By Friday, God's willing, in the evening, we'll be here and we will have a conversation, more news, information, entertainment. Mr. George, thank you so much. And to our valuable listeners, viewers, if you have your business, you also want to advertise, let us know. We can advertise your business as well to get it out there to the public, in any way possible you want. So just let us know. And we can do all of that. Until then, I'm Afonso Zian. So this beautiful Wednesday evening is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Duardo, send me a message. We need to have a conversation here. Let's unfold it now. We need to hold everybody. All should be held accountable. Folks, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Tadi flora ne ode yo. Ora se o. Ibu si di mo e o. Fango mane jeme we aye. Sekina di. Omone drogeyi.
Is taking it unprecedented turn and is going to get ugly comes the 2023 presidential elections. There were four major political parties came together under the banner of collaboration. Political pundits and others sees this as that it wouldn't have survived. Knowing the history of the collaborations in past years within the Liberian politics, it was just very difficult for one to grab it, to make sense out of it, that these things will have reached this far. Here we come, not even in the middle of the process, the whole thing is torn apart. This is a crazy scenario that have let the electorates down, because these collaboration parties were seen as alternative to the CDC. Here we are, it's falling apart. One of the collaborators is now being allegedly accused as criminal, or someone who illegally tamper with the documents that has to do with the framework. This is quite amazing. We have not heard anything from the Election Commission. Is it?
From the West African nation of Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia Public Radio and Television present Business Diary. This program focuses on the activities of business institutions and individuals in society.
I'm Jeremiah Zawu Senior, CEO of All Nation Bank. It has been very good to have this business established here. We are 1 year since we opened here in Anono. There have been few challenges here that have faced in this country, and that is all about the language. But here instead, I refuse to be deterred. I refuse to be discouraged. I open a business and things have been fine.
My name is Mercy Wakaringanga. I am
There are 5 priorities we have, and we call that the what. And then there are 5 things we call the how we'll do it. And those priorities are as follows. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. The next priority is agriculture. We are a country that do not fear ourselves. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves. And my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we are focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people, because again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our final priority in terms of the what's is health. Because you can have good infrastructure, you can have a good job.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff